back to our YouTube channel, and I love my question of the day. And my question for today is, who went back to work and then got shut down again? Because I did. I went back to work for 3 weeks, and then I am in quarantine again. They just shut down the whole state once again, and here we are. I am making videos for you guys again, and the most important thing about this video today is I am gonna announce the winner to our giveaways to the surprise set of Notpolish collection. And the winner for today is Marie, and I'm not gonna pronounce your last name because I don't want to butcher it, so I will have the screenshot on the screen for you guys to see. And congratulations to you again, Marie. Make sure you send us a DM on Instagram with your address so we can send it out to you. And for today's videos, we're gonna be doing some colorful hearts with rhinestone outlines. I think you guys saw the picture on our community that we posted a while back, and it's super cute, super summery, and super easy. I know my husband doesn't like when I say that, but anyways, check it out, guys. I already have the Notpolish Universal tips on, and I am working with bright colors today, so I will use a thin layer of clear acrylic on the bottom, so when the clients come back, it's easier for you guys to do a backfill. You guys just file off the color to the clear base, and this doesn't stain the client's nail bed when you use such bright colors if you have a protective layer on the bottom of the nail. And I am using all of the Notpolish summer collection today. It's super bright, super vibrant, and we're working in small beads at a time. And notice how my beads are a little bit wetter than usual, again because I want to create a marble look on it, but we're not gonna focus on too much details on the marble because we're gonna do a little heart design with it. So I'm just kind of like pick up these small beads and make sure it's extra wet and let them just kind of bleed into each other just like that. There you go. Just make sure you work in smaller beads at a time. And once you have that on, and I'm just going to blend it in there just a tad. I'm not going to focus too much on it. And then we're gonna pick up our next color, and again make sure the powder is a little bit on the runnier side, and make sure when you guys are doing it like this, you want it to be a little bit thinner also, because we're gonna be encapsulating this whole look in crystal clear powder, so we don't want it to be super thick. There you go. And then we're just gonna add another color on top of that, and remember, make sure they're pretty wet. And if you want to blend it just a tad, I'm just kind of pushing it up onto the yellow just a bit like that. And I'm going for more like a rainbow look, so it doesn't have to blend into each other perfectly. And when I'm done with that, just to make sure that my heart will match up, is I held the two fingers close to each other and lined them up at the cuticles to make sure that the heart will be proportionate when you're done. And now same thing goes for this side. I'm just gonna pick up a small beads of the blue, and I'm just gonna lightly tap it on there. Make sure it's very thin, and while that bead is still wet, I'm still gonna level it again just to make sure that they match up. And then now that I got the blue to match up with each other, I'm just going to push the fingers to the side and continue to work on the other colors. And again, make sure they're pretty runny. And I will have all these colors listed in the description box. And I'm just going to pull it down just a bit. And because I do want the color to run into each other, I'm just gonna continue working on my next bead while the previous bead is still wet. So make sure the acrylic is always wet when you're working, just to make sure they bleed into each other. So now I'm gonna work on my yellow, so I wouldn't wait for the pink to dry. While it's still wet, I just pick up the yellow bead and just work it on directly. There you go. And now the last color, we're gonna do the green. And then again, I am going to take the finger and make sure I line it up right next to each other again to make sure that the bottom of the heart will also match up with each other. And now that looks good. I'm just going to clean up a tad on the edges like that. And then one last measure. And that looks good. And now we're done. We're just gonna go in and encapsulate the whole nail in crystal clear powder. And remember, we want our crystal clear powder to be a little bit on the runnier side because we don't want a lot of air bubbles. So if it's too dry, when you encapsulate especially a clear look, you will have a lot of air bubbles in it, okay? So just make sure that it's a little bit on the runnier side. And now that my powder is a little bit set, so when my powder is a little bit runny, I would not pull the product down. I would just lightly tap it into the nail and make sure I give it a little bit time to set first. And then when it's set a little bit more, then I again press and pull it all the way down to the tip of the nails, and then we're gonna cut it off at the end. And make sure when you guys are doing this, you keep the shape of the nails also, because we don't want to spend a lot of time hand filing it after we're done. There. So we're just gonna press it into the nail. And now working on our next nail, I'm gonna do the same little step that I did on the other nails, but I'm gonna be doing a little bit of an ombre look on this one with a nude. So again, making sure that the beads is a little bit wetter. And then next one. And when we're done with that, I am using number M24. It's a nude with a little bit shimmer, and I would just place the nude a little bit above where the blue is at and pull it down, because this is a very vibrant color. So we're going to use a 2 beads application with the nude to make sure that the nude is enough to cover the vibrant blue on the bottom. Now at the second bead, I am working it closer to the cuticles and pull it down. Same goes on that side, and just pull it down. All right, now I feel like I covered too much of my blue. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna pick up a tiny little bead of the blue and just kind of work it back in like this, kind of lightly tap it at an upward motion like that, just to make sure I blend the blue up a little bit so it can show the blue a little bit more. Okay, now I am just gonna go in with a little bit of the purple also and just lightly tap on it. Make sure you work in a tiny little bead, because these summer colors are super vibrant, so you do not want to pick up such a big beads and it would just get everywhere. And again, now that is done, we're gonna go in and encapsulate it with a crystal clear powder again. And I would not go all the way up to the cuticles because the nude is already at the cuticles. So if I put the clear on there, it will be way too thick. So I'll just go above where my color is at, and then now I'm just gonna press and pull it all the way down to the tip of the nail. And now you guys know what I like to do next is using my 5-in-1 cross bit from Notpolish. It's still one of my favorite bit, and then I'm just gonna go in and taper down the sides of the nail first. That's the first thing I like to do, is I like to taper in the sides of the nail first to make sure that the shape is not super wide. And then when that's done, and then I'll just go and work on the top of the nail. And once that it's all done and smooth, I'm going to go in with the Notpolish hand file and just shape up the nail to the shape that you want, which is always going to be Coffin for me right now because I love Coffin. So I'm just going to shape that up real quick, and same goes for this side. I'm just going to go in and taper in the side of the nails first again. And same goes for this side. And then now we're just gonna smooth out the top of the nail. And when that's done, we're just gonna go in and shape up the nails again with the Notpolish Notpolish hand file. And what I love about this file, it's on the wider side and it's very sturdy, so it's best for shaping. And now we're just gonna go in and buff out the whole nail, make sure everything is nice and smooth, and then moving to my favorite part is applying on the rhinestone. And today I'll be using a little bit of a gel builder, and I apply on the first section of the gems. And now the gel builder is on. What I like to do is go over it with a non-cleansing gel top on top of the gel builder. And when that's done, I am going to go on and place my gems on. And make sure when you guys get using a gel builder to adhere your rhinestone on, you make sure that you work in smaller section because gel likes to run. So if you don't work fast enough, the gems will be running everywhere. So just to make sure that I won't run into that problem, I'll just work in a smaller section at a time. And I feel like it's a lot easier than just constantly having to fix your gem placement because it's just running everywhere by the time you're done with the bottom one. All right, and I'm just gonna place this on there. And then just make sure I place more right there, and then we're gonna move it to make sure it's tightly next to each other. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit more right here. Now that is good. I am going to cure it for about 30 seconds, and then I'll work on my next section of the gems, which is the bottom one. And then again, I am going to go in with the gel builder first, and then non-cleansing gel top, and then apply my gem right on top of it. And I just use some big ones first, and then use these smaller ones around closer to the edges, because we don't want to use the big one closer to the edges, because when you do that, your shape, the rhinestone will make your nails look all out of shape and really bulky. So when you're working closer to the edges of the nails, the side of the nails, make sure you use these smaller gems. And then again, I'm just going to work on the bottom part of it like that. And then before I cure this, I am just going to make sure that all my gems are in the right spot and nicely placed. And then I'm going to add some little ones right there to make sure that the heart is all the way around. So I'm just going to, and again, when we're working by the edges of the nails, make sure you use these smaller gems, just like that. There you go. And I'm just going to add some couple tiny little ones at the ends like that. And making sure that the gem's still in the right spot. So I'm just going to push it up just a tad and add another one. And then we're going to cure it. When we're done with this, we're going to cure it for 30 seconds. And now that it's cured, I'm going to hold it up right next to the other fingers just to make sure that my gems will match up and make it into a heart when you line them up together next to each other. So just make sure that you line it up at the cuticles so they will match up perfectly. And again, gel builder and then a non-cleansing gel top on top of the gel builder, and then apply your gems. And then when we're done with this, before I cure it, I'm going to line it up just to make sure that was even. And then I cure it for 30 seconds and work on my bottom halves of the heart. And then I'll just gel builder and then a non-cleansing gel top on top of the gel builder, and then apply your gems. And then I'm just going to apply it on the bottom just like that. Then when we're done with this, we're going to cure it for 30 seconds. And now this is cured. I am going to go in with the matte top coat, and make sure do not get it on top of the rhinestones because it's a matte top coat. So if it gets on top of the rhinestone, it will dull it out. And if it does happen, just make sure that you go in with a tiny little bit of the shiny top coat just to bring back the shine. And we're just going to apply on the matte top coat for this nails. And before I cure it, I like to very lightly run my fingers along the edges of the nail just a bit, because when you apply on the gel, it kind of ruined the shape a little bit. So by doing that, you're just making sure that the shape stay nice and clean. I'm going to cure for 30 seconds, and this is the finished product of the whole nail. Super easy to do, super simple, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, did you guys like that video? And if you do, make sure you guys give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to leave me a comment so I know who's at home again like me. And make sure you guys subscribe to our channel, and do not forget to ring that bell for future giveaways.